Yo, what's good people? Welcome back again to another podcast presentation of Yosef's 2 Cents. That's right, we are back in the driver's seat. I have missed y'all. I have missed chopping it up with you. And we're going to talk about some current events that will also be not only current events, but they are also teaching moments. As always, I'm your man, Yosef Isaiah Benjamin. Welcome back to the 319th installment of Yosef's 2 Cents. We are broadcasting on Facebook and on YouTube. So y'all come on in, unwind, relax. And for the next few moments, let us sit down and let us reason together. On the Facebook side, Brother Barron, good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us again. Happy to have you with us. I hope that you have had a very productive Wednesday and you're having a peaceful Wednesday evening. Let's see who else has joined us on the Facebook side. Still waiting for a couple of you on the YouTube side. Lady Marla, good evening to you, madam. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to get started momentarily. But in the meantime, unwind, relax, chill. We're going to get started briefly. Yeah, y'all come on in. I know it's been a while since I have presented Yosef's 2 Cents podcast on Facebook, and I know it's been a while since I've put up any brand new material on the YouTube side. But hopefully I'm going to start being more consistent and bringing more material. Actually on both Facebook and YouTube, but preferably more of YouTube, because I only got like 30 videos. I got to work on that, and I got to put some more stuff on other platforms coming soon. You like that? Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Yes. All right. Once again, thank you all so very, very much for joining me again on a special Wednesday edition of the Yosef's 2 Cents podcast. And I have missed presenting Yosef's 2 Cents, but I have to be honest with you when I tell you that I've had other obligations. And for those of you that know, I am now back. I am now back in the ministry. And we just concluded the very first 12 episodes of the House of Bread Ministry podcast. And I want to thank all of you for your participation and your witnessing with us on that particular podcast. We just concluded a 12-part sermon series from the book of Jeremiah. And if you enjoyed it, please, ma'am, please, sir, go back and restudy and reread the passages of scripture that we used. And please, ma'am, please, sir, feel free to donate to the cause. The Cash App ID is $hidden one truth. Once again, that's $hidden one truth. And there will be some more sermons that will be on the horizon. And we will present another sermon this coming Saturday. And don't forget, we will have virtual communion in commemorance of the Most High Son's death, burial, and resurrection by taking our death penalty upon himself so that we may have life and have that life all the more abundantly. Brother Damien, good evening to you, sir. Happy to have you with us tonight. Thanks for dropping by. This is the 319th installment of Yosef's 2 Cents, and we're just going to go ahead and get started because we are broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook. So we're on both Facebook and YouTube. Listen, let me get started by saying this. Kevin Samuels is back in what I call the internet news. And once again, Kevin Samuels has made observations that has offended many people. This is not the first time that he has made something or has stated something as controversial and as offensive as people take it. Most times when Kevin Samuel says something that's offensive and controversial, it's really because he's really telling the truth about the toxicity of the modern day woman, in particularly the modern day black woman. But this time, he has said something that I think is a tad bit more offensive. And this is what he has said, or it has been reported that he himself has said. He himself has said that in order for a man to be high value, he has to be in a suit, shirt, and tie. Hey, Naughty, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. That's my old co-worker. Good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate you. Thanks for dropping by. Look, Kevin Samuels has made the observation that, once again, in order for a man to be high value, he has to be in a three-piece suit, shirt, and tie. Once again, allow for me, yours truly, to school you on a few things. I'm hanging in there, Naughty. Good to have you with us tonight. Good to have all of y'all with us tonight. Listen, the argument that Kevin Samuels is presenting and has presented before is a man has to be high value in order for him to wear a three-piece suit, shirt, and tie. And wrong. Because you have to understand that any man can wear a three-piece suit, shirt, and tie any day of the week. And you have the biggest crooks in the whole world wearing three-piece suits, shirts, and ties every day, all day. I mean, just look at some of the politicians and some of these fly-by-night preachers. They wear suits all the time. And they continue to get over like fat rats over on their parishioners and their congregations. Now, you're probably wondering, well, where is he getting this from? It's simple. That argument that in order for a man to be high value and for him to wear a three-piece suit, shirt, and tie to make him high value, that is of a European mindset. He adopted the mindset, or that particular mindset, that particular belief from the Europeans. You have heard me say before, especially if you are a melanated man. If you are a melanated man, guess what? You can wear three-piece suits, shirts, and ties all day long. And you can be the biggest crook in the whole world. Because I have known men that dresses as well as I do, and they are the biggest crooks and they are the biggest phonies in the whole world. Likewise, I have met men who dresses just like this, the way I'm dressed tonight, and they will give you the very last as to what they have. So being a high value man is not being defined by the clothes you wear. Besides, the clothes don't make the man. The man makes the clothes. Yeah. And see, for those that are listening intently to what Kevin Samuels is saying, I got to be honest with you. He is steering you gentlemen down a dark, dangerous road. Because if you're trying to sleep with a woman, guess what? Once again, getting a suit and wearing a suit that's three pieces, guess what? Ain't gonna do it. Nah. And see, here's the thing also. Here's something else from a reliable source told me. And it's also circulating all over the internet, all over YouTube and Facebook and other places too. Kevin Samuels, before he became the Kevin Samuels that a lot of people love and admire, guess what? He used to be a panhandler. Yes, he used to be a panhandler. He used to panhandle in front of some department store in Atlanta, Georgia. Either it was Bloomingdale's or Burlington Coat Factory. But I believe it was Bloomington's, if memory serves me correctly. And he would panhandle in front of one of these department stores for clients. And this source also told me that he would purchase colognes that I believe Bloomingdale's would sell. He would buy it, right? And he would try to panhandle into getting clients. Yeah. And then here's something else that you have to be schooled on too. You also have to pay attention to the kind of audience that he has. Listen, the majority of the audience that Kevin Samuel has is not male. The majority of them are female. They are masculine females who feel they are entitled to a good man. Understand that. If you pay close enough attention to his podcast and his show. Look at the kind of women that he interviews. Look at the kind of women that he interviews. Look at the kind of women that is on his platform. Those women are not feminine acting women. There's nothing feminine acting about them at all. Every single one of them are masculine acting. They're hood. They're ratchet as they come. And as I've said, they feel entitled and they feel like they are deserving of a quote unquote high value man. And these are the same kind of women that have mismanaged their time, their bodies, and they have been promiscuous, throwing away all of their best years. And now that the wall is hitting them and they're pimp slapping them, the wall is bop, bop. Now they're in search of what they should have been in search for a long time ago. But the kind of man that these women want, guess what? Guess what? The men don't want them. And so now they're throwing temper tantrums like spoiled little brats and spoiled little Barbies because the kind of man that they should have been gunning for when they were younger, they're laughing at them. And in their mindset, their way of thinking is this: why would I want you? You're damaged goods. You've been promiscuous. You've been degrading yourself. And don't throw this argument at me talking about, there you go, degrading women. No, I'm not. I'm not degrading women. The contemporary woman, and mind you, the kind of audience that he has is the contemporary black woman. That's his audience. That is his audience. And because that's his audience, he is always saying things that's very, very truthful, yet he's saying it in a very harsh delivery. That's his audience. And so these same dudes that's applauding Kevin Samuels for putting these toxic women in their place, guess what? As soon as the show is over, I guarantee you some of these same dudes are going in these toxic women inboxes and they're pandering for sex. So you can't pay these people any attention. You can't. At best, what you're seeing every time you get on social media, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, we're getting avatars of people, of what they pretend to be. And chances are we may not ever know, we may not ever get to know or see the real man or the real woman, because the majority of them are not even trying to better themselves at all, because they're comfortable right in their slavery of sorts. Let me read your observations. Nadia, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Brother Barron says, before a man put on the suit, there are matters that need to complete, like hygiene. He continues, insecure, needed, and slutty. Barron, and he continues, a house full of kids. Yeah, house full of kids. And allow me to also piggyback off of that last observation when he says a house full of kids. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of men, there's a lot of women that actually hate their kids. Yeah. There's a lot of men and there's a lot of women that actually regret having children. They don't like, you'll be surprised to know the large percentage of parents that actually have no regard or respect or emotion for their children. They see their children. These are parents that actually sees their own children, right? They see their own children as dysgenic, snotty-nosed, bratty little bastards. That's exactly how some parents see their kids. And to make matters worse, they know for a fact that their children are the byproducts of hookups. Yeah. See, and this is something else that's swept under the rug and as quiet as it's kept. You got a lot of kids that are the byproducts of hookups, sexual fun. But they're not going to ever tell their children that because they know for a fact that it would destroy them. Look, let me say this. And I want to go back to this observation that Kevin Samuels has been arguing for a while now. His stance is from a European basis. It's from a European standpoint. Let me tell you something. As I've said before, any man can wear a three-piece suit, shirt, and tie and be the biggest douchebag in the whole world. It's about character. You want to know what my definition of a high value man is? Let me tell you what the definition of a high value man is to me. Brother Barron says, now are byproducts of tax child credit. That too. Lady Marla says, so true. You see in the school system, children are neglected. Yeah. I mean, it's a painful reality and it should not be, but this is the way it is. That's the way it is. And good evening to the one viewer on the YouTube side, whoever you may be. Happy to have you with us tonight. My definition of what a high value man is means that he is a man that believes in doing the right thing for the right reason. My definition of a high value man is one that believes in taking care of his family. My definition of a high value man is one that believes in treating everybody with dignity, class, and respect, and understands about the dignity of human personality. A high value man doesn't have to necessarily wear the best suits, but he keeps his hygiene clean and is up to speed and is up to par. A high value man doesn't have to be a rocket scientist, but he knows how to treat that woman. And he also knows that a good woman, a real good woman, a good wife, is as precious as rubies and diamonds and pearls. A high value man raises his child right or children right. A high value man makes sure that everybody in his circle is all right. And he uses and he teaches the same knowledge that he acquired he wants to pass it on to the younger generation. That's what a high value man is. A high value man is a man of honor, a man of moral integrity. That's what a high value man is to me. That's my definition of what a high value man is. Not all this other nonsense that people are saying. And see, let me throw this out here too. Here's another teaching moment. What Kevin Samuels is teaching men to be is not high value men. He's teaching them to be high value targets. Meaning, when a woman sees a well-dressed man, the first thing that comes to her mind is, whoo, he got some munties. He got plenty of munties in his bank account. So whenever you hear Kevin Samuels coaching a man on how to be a high value man, and he needs to wear a suit and shirt and tie and all this kind of thing, and you have to pay an exorbitant amount of munties to get that high value suit, baloney. Baloney. Oh, and most importantly, my definition of a high value man, he's God-fearing, God-loving, God-respecting. He's a spiritual man. He's discovering the Most High, and he's discovering himself above all the other definitions that I gave. Now, as I'm sitting here listening to the definition, Kevin Samuels' definition of what a high value man is, I'm just sitting there. I'm just listening. I'm not going to chime in. I'm not calling in. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just listening. I have news for you. And for anybody else that concurs with his definition of what a high value man is. If you want to wear a suit, that's your business. You're a grown man. And you don't have to pay no exorbitant amount of money to get a nice suit. I've told you all in podcast episodes of the past before, I've gotten suits that the actual retail price of those suits was $300 and $400 and $500 and up. But I got it for $129, $149, $150 plus dollars. Shoot. The suit that I preached in this past Saturday, it was $96, believe it or not. The actual retail price of it is doggone near $400 and $500 in certain places. But I was able to get it for $96. Plus shipping and handling. So the grand total was $113. Yeah. So I just saved the majority of my paycheck. Like the old folks say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You understand? There's more than one way to skin a cat. And see, there are so many teaching moments in this situation. Let me throw it. Can I take my time and just present it to you the way I feel it? Here it is. Remember I said some time ago on another podcast of Yosef's 2 Cents, or while I was preaching? Remember I said to you that you have a lot of people that are operating off of somebody else's faith and somebody else's belief, and people are operating off of somebody else, and they are not operating off of their own convictions and their own truths and their own beliefs. Y'all remember that, right? We gonna talk about this tonight. It's been a while. I haven't done Yosef's 2 Cents in almost 3 or 4 months, maybe. We gonna talk about this tonight before y'all go to bed. I know y'all gotta go to work in the morning. I gotta go to work too. But we gonna get this in here tonight. Y'all remember I said that, right? In the same way, Kevin Samuels ain't operating off of his own convictions, bro. Sis. He ain't operating off of his own convictions. It's a European mindset that he adapted this from. My beliefs comes from what I personally have studied from the scriptures of both the Bible and Quran, and from my elders that taught me when I was younger, and some of my elders that are still teaching me. I've come to learn that you never take anything at whole value, especially when somebody says it. You take it with a grain of salt. And if you agree with it, you agree with it. And if you don't, you put it to the side. That's how you do it. And see, these are the same dudes that call Kevin Samuels the Godfather. They call Kevin Samuels Unc. Listen, he don't claim you Negroes the same way you claim him. He don't claim y'all at all. He don't claim you at all. He don't. He don't, man. He don't. And the very same ones of you dudes that's talking about F these B's, forget these H's, these whores, these sluts, these prostitutes, blah, 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 Guess what? You got a crush on these women, but they ain't giving you the time of day. That's your problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got a crush on these women, especially here on Facebook. Boy, listen, let me tell y'all something, man. This is the truth. I see men and women go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on the most pettiest of things, on the most petty-ish. Come on, man. And I'm like, why don't y'all just admit y'all like each other? You all are sexually attracted to each other. Instead of going back and forth, arguing and cursing each other out, you just want to, why don't y'all just get a room? Just meet up somewhere, get a room, get all your sexual tensions and frustration out, and call it a day and get in a relationship with one another. Because that's really what it is. With a lot of men and with a lot of women. These men that argue back and forth with these women, they're the male versions of these women. And the women are the female versions of the men they argue with. That's it. That's it. It's the truth. And for those of you that's calling Kevin Samuels the Godfather, Uncle Kevin, please. You don't even believe the nonsense that he's spewing. I doubt if even he believes it himself. And then what image consultant is going to pay you, or you have to pay him? What image consultant is going to you 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, sometimes $200 an hour for some of the same stuff that's a load of nonsense, and I can consult you on. I can consult too, but I'm going to give it to you straight. No chaser. Because life has taught me to be honest, sometimes blunt, sometimes brutally honest, not to tear the person down, but to help them up, to help them to become the best version of themselves for themselves. See? It's the truth. Too many people are still operating off of wishful thinking, ladies and gentlemen. It's the truth. I mean, look, it's I'm not making this up. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not. And speaking of feminine acting dudes, let me tell you something. I had this goofball to inbox my girlfriend complaining and kvetching about the suits that I wear and the jewelry that I wear. Why he got to be wearing them suits? Why he got to be wearing the jewelry? And why he got to be asking for donations? You jackass. This is a business. You understand? This is a business. This is what podcasters do. And podcasters can dress in any attire they please. What's good, D. Will? Thanks for joining us, man. You gonna inbox my girlfriend and gonna complain to her about my attire, about what I do. And some of you jackasses, you wear suits all the time, especially when you go to the nightclubs, just like Brother Barron said. But the only difference between me and you is I don't dress like I'm a pimp on Sesame Street. You do. You see biscuits? And podcasting is in the field of entertainment. This is entertainment. This is a business. And besides, when I was wearing my suit, I was in full ministerial attire. I was preaching, I was teaching, I was facilitating the word of the Most High. Y'all know my story. I got back into ministry December 18th. That was the very first sermon that I preached in 7 years. See? And let me share with you what else happened to this dude that went in my girlfriend's inbox. My girlfriend's inbox. My girlfriend's sister was there also. And you know what my girlfriend's sister did? This is what happened. My girlfriend's sister called that dude on Messenger. She sure did. And a woman answered the phone call. And she asked for the dude that went in my girlfriend's inbox, right? Confessing about the jewelry that I wear and the suits that I wear. And my girlfriend's sister G-checked him and said that's a grown man and he can wear anything that he wants. And besides, he's been wearing suits the whole time and he's been asking for donations the whole time. It's a business. It is a business. This is entertainment, folks. Last time I heard, podcasters can talk about anything they want. They can wear anything they want, however they want to wear it. Why you gotta be wearing the jewelry? Why you gotta be wearing the suits? Why do you have to be asking for donations? Why do you have to be a feminine little... Why are you so caught up in what I'm wearing? That's my girlfriend's sister right there. What's good, Nadia? Thanks for joining. She said I sure did and blocked this jealous. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. But yeah. And just in case this swamp donkey jackass happens by chance to be watching or will watch my podcast either on YouTube or Facebook, guess what, Playboy? I got plenty more suits where that came from, Jack. As a matter of fact, when I get good and ready, guess what I'm going to wear when I feel like it? I'm going to wear a turquoise suit. Yeah, I got a turquoise suit. And if I feel like it, I'm going to put on a purple shirt to go along with it. Yeah. And I'm going to make sure that I'm well groomed. I'm going to make sure that I get my beard trimmed. It's going to be well groomed. I'm going to be well groomed. And I'm going to be looking the only way Yosef Isaiah Benjamin can look. Because I'm Yosef Benjamin, jackass, and you're not. How you like that? Oh, and here's something else too. Now, I don't know if that woman was his girlfriend or his sister or whoever it was. But let's just say in this scenario, it was his girlfriend. Let's just say that was his girlfriend, right? And if that was actually his girlfriend that heard him kvetch and complain about another man in what he is wearing and how he wears it, right? The little respect or the respect that she had for you, that's all gone down the drain, kid. That is all gone down the drain. Yep. It's all gone down the tubes. It's all gone down the drain. It's all gone down the drain. Because if there's one thing that a real woman don't like, A real woman don't like a man that kvetches and complains like a little female about the most pettiest and the most trivial of things. And if by chance, and I told my girlfriend this too, and if by chance that she is not screwing another dude, guess what, player? She's about to be screwing another dude now. Yeah. Yeah. So, sisters, let me tell y'all something. I understand why y'all kvetch and complain about these dudes. I get it, man. I get it. I understand. I get it. I get it. Because the majority of these dudes, they are too feminine acting for me too. You want to know what's worse? I tell you what's worse. I had a homeboy I was chopping it up with briefly the other day. And he told me that he was invited to one of these other platforms, somebody's podcast. And when he was going to come on the podcast, the person that invited my acquaintance, my associate, I'll say, my homeboy. Do you want to know what he was going to talk with my associate about? You ain't gonna believe this. I'll give y'all a wild guess on Facebook and YouTube. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess as to what this dude that invited my homeboy, my associate, on his platform, guess what they were going to talk about? Take a wild guess. Any guess in the world. Go ahead. Any wild guess in the world. Go ahead. Any guess in the world. Go ahead. It don't matter. Take a wild guess. Brother Barron, you're right. His Wangerman thing. Yep. And the size of it. The size of his Wangerman thing. That's what he was going to talk about on his platform, about his Wangerman thing. Come on, man. What the hell fact is going on here? Why is it that dudes wanted to bring on other dudes and question them about the size of their male genitalia? That is nobody's business except for that man and his wife. Those are the only two people that should be concerned about the size of a man's Wangerman thing. The man himself and his wife. Nobody else. Nobody else. You understand me? Nobody else. Lady Marla says his woman, no, darling, no. No, not his woman. Nope. Afraid not. Brother Barron was spot on. His Wangerman thing. The size of it. See? Earlene, what's going on? Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy to have you with us. For those of y'all that are just joining, welcome back again to the Yosef's 2 Cents podcast on Facebook and YouTube. I'm your man, Yosef Isaiah Benjamin, and tonight we're just talking about current events, everything from Kevin Samuels to his belief in what a high-value man is, and the psychological apparatus and the psychological hygiene of the contemporary woman, as well as the psychological apparatus and hygiene of the contemporary man. And I'm also getting ready to talk about the ill treatment of those African students over in that war zone of the Ukraine in just a few moments. Let's see. Brother Barron says, I get invited to many parties, but I never attend. Either they're interested in my wife and I never allow them to visit my home. Brother Barron, I don't blame you, man. Look, for some of you empty-headed sea biscuits, and that does not apply to all, but it applies to most. Let me explain something to you. There are some unwritten man laws or man rules, but they're known as man laws, in terms of how to conduct yourself when it comes down to being around another man's wife or woman. Little sis, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Happy to have you with us. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're well. And one of those unwritten man laws, folks, is this. My father taught me this. He taught me this when I was a boy, when I was a teenager. He said, son, whenever you go to a man's house, you make sure that man is at his house. And if that man is not home and only his woman is there or his wife is there, you don't even go in. You understand me? Don't go in. Do not go in under any circumstances. Do not go in. You don't go in. You don't go in. You know why you don't go in? I'll tell you why you don't go in. You don't go in because that's temptation. You never enter another man's house and that man is not there and only his wife is there. You don't do that. Do you know how many women have gotten raped because they did not follow that man law or they were not taught that man law? As my father used to say, and I'm going to give you the clean version of it. My father taught me, boy, you never enter another man's house when he's not there. Because remember this too, son. A hard thing has no conscience. I'm giving y'all the clean version. I'm trying to lay off of the vulgarity. That's what I'm really trying to do. But my father said, a hard thing has no conscience. It's temptation. You understand? It's temptation. My father taught me this when I was a teenager. There's certain things you just don't do. You understand? There's certain things you don't do. There's certain things, there's certain behaviors you don't pick up on, you don't act on. See? Brother Barron says, if my wife let him in, it will be destruction. I can't fault a man. I can't fault you for feeling like that. I can't fault any man for feeling like that. I can't fault any man for that. I can't, and I don't. I can't fault y'all for that. I can't, and I don't. That's the right mindset to have, actually. It's the truth. See? It's the truth. But we live in such a godless society where the Bible calls it lawlessness. In the Injil, or the gospel, according to St. Matthew, the 24th chapter, I believe it is, and the 12th verse. Let me make sure I get it right. Let me make sure I get it right. Let me make sure I get it right. Yep. Matthew, the 24th chapter and the 12th verse. And this is actually Yeshua, aka Jesus, talking when he says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of the love of many shall wax cold. So because the love of many is waxing cold, that's why you have so much lawlessness and godlessness and people that are devoid of moral integrity and scruples and principles. They're not men and women of consciousness and principles. They are men and women of impulse, and they do not belong to the Most High. They belong to the enemy of the Most High. That's why you got all this madness going on here. Yeah. Yeah. It's the truth. See? But enough about Kevin Samuels, these feminine acting dudes, and these ratchet, masculine acting women. I want to talk about what's going on in the Ukraine. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the latest incidents of these African students and people that look like you and me, and how they're being mistreated in the Ukraine. Because it's to my understanding that those African students were being mistreated and they were being disrespected, especially a little girl, an underage little girl being pushed off of a train just so some racist paleface could get on the train ahead of this African little girl. When I discovered that on my timeline, I can't tell you just how infuriated I was. I can't tell you just how infuriated I was. But I'm going to tell you something. It reminded me of what the scriptures says in so many words. And what the scripture taught in so many words, that since we are the sons and daughters of the Most High, and science will back me up on this, we will be mistreated. You all have also heard me say time and time again that every melanated man, woman, and child on the face of this earth, we are hated and we are despised. You've heard me say that before. You've heard me make mention of that countless times. And I must admit, I must confess, I own up to it. I admit it. For a moment, I had compassion for the Ukraine. I did. Only for a moment. My compassion left when I discovered they were mistreating those African students, and especially that underage African little girl. From that point on, guess what? Whatever happens to the Ukraine, it will happen. Because all of these nations are about to feel the wrath of the Most High for their mistreatment, for their perpetual mistreatment of the original life in the universe. And because, right, of their continual mistreatment, the end result will be their destruction and their death. I'm trying to look up the article here. But this is the reality. The reality of the whole matter is this. We have always been a hated people, nationally or internationally, worldwide, wherever we've gone. We have always been a hated people because we are the original life in the universe. We are a hated people. And even still to this day, we are a hated people. Always have been. Always will be. we are a hated people. So whatever happens to the Ukraine and the rest of these nations, the way I interpret it, it's the Most High's judgment. You really think that the Most High is going to continue to allow these nations to mistreat his sons and his daughters? Y'all really think that? Do y'all really think the Most High is going to allow this to continue to happen? I don't think it is. So this Russian army, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, he's only doing what I believe what the Most High wants him to do by his permissive will. And only by his permissive will. That's why all this nonsense is happening. See, people have been playing with the Most High. And I don't mean to preach, but I'm telling y'all the truth tonight. Been telling y'all the truth. I'm just not preaching. But a lot of people have been playing with the Most High, thinking that he is not going to get to them. He going to get to that rear end. It's come. As far as I'm concerned, it's already started. You understand me? It's already started. So whenever we start hearing about more casualties, more deaths, more destruction, don't be surprised. Because this is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. You really think that they've gotten away and the rest of these nations have gotten away? They haven't gotten away. And I've been seeing all down my timeline, off and on all day, people saying that I feel the same way about Ukraine as Ukraine feels about those African students. You can't get mad at that. And don't let your Stockholm syndrome get in the way of your logical reasoning and deductive reasoning. Because you got a lot of fools out here that will sympathize with their lifelong, perpetual oppressor. Oh, Yosef, man, you starting to sound like the Negroes of the nation of Israel or the nation of Islam. Listen, Sambo. It's that kind of mindset that you have. That's part of the reason why we're in the condition that we're in. Well, why you got to be so mean and hateful to Ukraine? They didn't do nothing to you. You got some Negroes that think like that. Let me get to some of your comments right quick. Lady Marla says, although the Bible does not tell us exactly when Christ will return, we are told that he will come unexpectedly, just as a thief in the night. Exactly. Exactly. She continues, it's a sad situation. Of course it is. Very much so. People just don't want to get it right. But that's on them. That ain't on us. Brother Barron says this war is not for us. It's for those white people. Listen, the United States has always had this perpetual bad habit, this proclivity, an unhealthy proclivity for jumping in the affairs of other nations and countries instead of fixing their own. That has been one of their biggest downfalls. You understand? That has been one of their biggest downfalls ever. It's the truth. And then the scripture says it. The time will come when there will be wars and rumors of wars. Don't you think those times are here now? I believe these times are here. I believe so. Look at this. Wars, rumors of wars. But see, here's something else too that you might want to consider. You might want to consider also that as dangerous as that war is over in the Ukraine, you might want to consider the unknown, that which is not known, that which is unseen, and that which is unheard that nobody else is talking about. Well, wait a minute, Yosef, what are you talking about? What are you getting at? There may be something that's getting ready to jump off and take place that's far more diabolical and far more dangerous that nobody else is talking about. See, it's always that which is not talked about, that which is not being reported, that which we don't have anything or have any knowledge about that's going on. That's why the unknown is quite dangerous and can be dangerous. What are you saying, Yosef? It's simple. As dangerous as things are in the Ukraine, there's something far worse than the war in Ukraine that's going on, and nobody's talking about it. The mainstream media is not reporting this. That's why the unknown is so dangerous. The unknown is dangerous. The unknown is more frightening than any of us could ever imagine. And I'm almost done. I've just about held y'all long enough, but I had to get this out. I had to get this out of my system. It's always the unknown. Now, if you want to look at the news, You got to look at it from a different lens. And you got to look at it and take it from a grain of, take it with a grain of salt, a grain of sand, because you've also have heard me say also that there has been a breach of journalistic integrity. And because there has been a breach of journalistic integrity, right? You're going to have to look beyond what the media has been spewing and saying. And don't let the media do your thinking for you. You're going to have to learn to do your own independent thinking, and don't let the news media and all the rest of these other platforms do your thinking for you. You have to learn to read between the lines. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Lady Marla says stay prayed up. Y'all better stay prayed up and start. Y'all better start praying harder and meditating more deeply and a lot longer. One of your biggest problems is, and I've been guilty of the same thing. That's why I'm able to tell y'all this. Stop putting time limits on praying. Stop putting time limits on praying. Stop putting time limits on meditating in the word of the Most High. Putting time limits on everything. That's the problem. You putting time limits on things that you ain't got no business putting no time limit on. Since when did praying and meditating, you got to put a time limit? When? That's the problem now. That's one of the reasons why the church has lost its power. You entertaining your members and your parishioners. You ain't feeding them substance. You're not feeding them healthy food. You're not feeding them vegetables. You're feeding them junk food. And whenever you do feed them something that they need, you only giving crumbs. Yeah. You only are giving out crumbs. And because you've only been giving out crumbs, that's the problem why we're in such a horrible condition. See? Lady Marla raised the question. What God put a time limit on us? Now, for all of you deeply theological students and theologians, well, what about the time he put a time limit on Hezekiah? Listen, I understand what you call yourself arguing, but here's the thing. The Most High added 15 years to Hezekiah's life. And in a nutshell, in so many words, a representative of the Most High came to Hezekiah and said, Hezekiah, you, sir, are on the verge of death. You ain't got long. So Hezekiah prayed to the Most High to extend the time. 15 years, added 15 years to his life, a decade and a half. But that ain't the same scenario. Now, am I saying that the Most High times us? Well, the scripture does say that he knows how many hairs we have on our heads. I ain't got none. I got peach fuzz. I'm a cue ball. I got peach fuzz. But the point that I'm really conveying is, if we shortchange the Most High, right? Or rather, if the Most High shortchange us like we always do with him collectively, how will we feel? I tell you what, if the Most High started doing that, a lot of us wouldn't be here tonight. A lot of us wouldn't be here tonight. I've held y'all long enough. But before I give my final 2 cents, I want to thank each and every one of y'all on both Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Meta, and YouTube for my commentary on tonight's presentation of the Yosef 2 Cents podcast. I am he, Yosef Benjamin. And we have been talking about current events, everything from that's going on in on the internet, in the world. I even gave y'all a little Bible class tonight. It wasn't full blown, but it gave you a little bit. But like the video, share the video, tag your family and your friends on the Facebook Meta side, and on the YouTube side, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe to my channel, and donate to our cause. Our Cash App is $Hidden One Truth. That's $Hidden One Truth. I close when I tell y'all this, and I want y'all to listen to me very carefully. Brother Barron, I appreciate the compliments, sir. As always, thank you so much for your support. Let me say this. As I said earlier, at the outset, or the beginning, or the genesis of our podcast tonight, especially with this whole Kevin Samuels controversy of his definition or his interpretation of what a high value man is. Let me say this. Man, time is flying by. Let me go ahead. Let me say this. He's operating off of a school of thought that's not even his own. And he's leading men down a dark and dangerous path. He's not setting them up to be quote unquote high value men. He's setting them up to be high value targets. And the majority of women that comes on that man's podcast, to reiterate what I said earlier, are not feminine women. They are entitled, spoiled brats whose sexual market value has plummeted down through their years. Why? Number one, whenever they were received or they were presented with correction as to how they should be treated, or as to how they should carry themselves and how they should treat men and children, like a fool, they rejected correction. And the scripture teaches that any man or any woman that rejects correction is counted as a fool. And you also have to keep in mind the kind of audience that Kevin Samuel has. The majority of his audience is not men. And if they are men, they're feminine acting men that applauds Kevin Samuels for slaying and delivering correction in such a way that the majority finds offensive. He's setting men up to be high-value targets and not high-value men. He's setting men up to actually be robbed by some of these toxic women. And the kind of women that he has on his platform are entitled toxic women that have been promiscuous all through their years. And they put the honorable man that would treat them right on the back burner during their heyday, back in the day when they were younger. Now the wall is slapping the taste out of their mouth. All that beauty is gone. It's fading. They don't have a Coca-Cola bottle figure no more. They got the figure of a gallon of Clorox bleach. They don't have that Coca-Cola bottle figure no more. They look like a gallon of Arizona iced tea. They don't have curves. They have a curve. And these are also the same women that will call feminine acting women, women that make good wives, that are good wives and good mothers. They call them pick-me's. But in essence, they're the real pick-me's because they're the ones that seeks attention by any means necessary. And those kinds of women, the Bible calls them dogs. It's in the lost books in the Bible called the Apocrypha. The Bible also calls toxic women shameless. Or the characteristic of a woman is shameless, no shame, unrepentant, amoral, not a mother, not a wife. Those are the kinds of women that feel they are entitled to having what they call a high value man. And the men that's going and applauding Kevin Samuels for putting these so-called women in their place, quote unquote, these same men are going right in these same women's inboxes and they trying to get their wangama things wet, man. And what we have here, once again, people that's on social media, what we're seeing at best is an avatar of that man, of that woman, of who they portray to be. Yeah. 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 And it's dangerous to operate off of wishful thinking. It's dangerous to operate off of somebody else's thinking, their faith, their convictions. That's why you got to learn to become a self-defined man and a self-defined woman and mold and scope your own faith and your own convictions. In other words, you got to find your own key instead of operating off of somebody else. Too many men and too many women operate off of somebody else's consciousness instead of developing their own. And finally, I'll say again, whatever happens with the Ukraine, it happens. And the reason why I say that is because, once again, we who are melanated men and women have always been hated, and we are still universally hated to this hour. Check out what happened with those African students. And what we continue to witness and what we continue to see is the shutting down and the closing of this world as a new one begins to open up. We are the original life in the universe. And see, we're the only people that don't know exactly who the hand fact we are. Everybody else knows who we are. That's why they hate us so. We don't know who we are. And there has been a serious lack of self-love, self-respect, and self-knowledge. That's another reason why we're in the condition that we find ourselves in. That's the truth. That's the truth. And we continue to be the modern day dry bones in the valley. We continue to be amalgamated in language, in history, in culture. This is us. And remember something. Remember, I also said, and I made mention of Jonah. Guess what? Nineveh is us. Nineveh is us. Jonah didn't want to preach to Nineveh because the Ninevites did all kinds of things, subjected his countrymen to all forms of brutality and persecution. So he was saying to the Most High, I don't want to preach to them. They deserve death. But the Most High say, I want Nineveh saved. The story of Jonah is the story of our nationality. We are the modern day Ninevites. That's our story. Man, don't have me to preach tonight. I'm gonna save it for Saturday. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save it for Saturday. But like always, I hope my words sobered your mind and sobered your spirits. Yeah. Hey Giselle, how's it going? She says, you'll play the organ only if I have a song selection. Fair enough. Fair enough. Lady Marla says nuclear ambitions in India and China on October 21st, 2021, designed by the nation's own defense organizations and capable of carrying nuclear warheads. It all goes back to what I said in the scriptures. Wars and rumors of wars. This is Jacob's troubles. Legendary bad days. Jacob's troubles. Wars and rumors of war. That's what we have here. Now, let me say this with all due respect. The comments, and I'm not saying all of you do this, but this is what I'll do. If you want me to advertise your product, hit my inbox or text me if you have my number. And if you know I'm going on the air, I'll advertise you. But please, ma'am, and please, sir, don't advertise when I'm on the air, especially when I'm trying to get some key points across. If you want me to advertise for you, I'll advertise for you. And in turn, I expect for you to advertise for me too. Remember, this is a business. I don't mind helping you. I'll do what I can, but in turn, help me too. See? Now, shout out to Miss Giselle. I understand that she is a fashion or clothes designer. And I want to give a shout out to her. And if you're interested, go to her page, inbox her. She will share with you some of her works. And I must say that her works is absolutely fantastic and superb. It's all good, Naughty. I know you're proud of your sister. And I was going to, I was going to I was going to advertise for her at the end of the podcast. That's what I'll do. I'll either advertise at the top of the show or at the very end. Either way it goes. I got you. No problem. But check out her page. She got some fabulous stuff. And the works that I've seen, guess what? It's spot on. It is spot on. So congratulations to Giselle, and congratulations again to young Myron, who has his own clothing line out as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more, hopefully, of both Giselle and young Myron. And anybody else that wants me to advertise for you, I'll be more than happy to do it. And just inbox me. Tell me what it is you want me to advertise for you. And I'll be more than happy to do it. But I ain't doing it for free. I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg, but I'm no longer will I do things for free. This is a business. You support me, I'll support you. If you don't support me, you won't get my support. Either way it goes. So, with that said, I've enjoyed my time spending it with you. Thank y'all for listening to me. Like the video, share the video, tag your family and your friends on Facebook and Meta on YouTube. Like, share it, and subscribe to my channel. That'll do it. This concludes the 319th installment of Yosef's 2 Cents. Join me next time when I got some more things to share with you concerning the world we live in. I'm Yosef Benjamin. It's been my pleasure. It's been a ball, but the clock on the wall says that's all for now. Until next time, have a good one. Peace. I'm out.